for tuning in. I wanted to remind you of our Road to 1,000 Subscribers giveaway that we have going on our YouTube channel. If you subscribe and have a public profile, you'll be entered to win a free RX Smart Gear original jump rope. You'll get to pick the pattern of the handles, the color and weight of the cable, and you'll be getting one of the best-selling, best-performing jump ropes out there. Every time we hit a new century mark with the number of subscribers to our channel, we'll randomly select a new winner. And our friend Dave Newman is going to throw in a little something extra for each winner. So a special thanks to our sponsor, RX Smart Gear, to Dave Newman for being such a great partner, and to you for being a loyal listener. Good luck, and I hope you are our next winner.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I wanted to talk to you about our new sponsor, Element 26. They are an innovative company producing lots of products around the CrossFit, strongman, powerlifting space. They have weightlifting belts, they have knee sleeves, they have thumb tape. They have these cool little straps that go around the bars when you're trying to attach a bar to the rig and maybe using it for low bar work, like pull-ups for little kids, or some modifications for like bar muscle ups when you're trying to teach someone to do them. And you know how you wrap those rubber bands around the rig and the J hook to kind of keep everything straight? Well, they've made straps for that. And they're straps kind of like the straps you use for rings. They have a really secure system on it, and you can wrap around the bar and keep that nice and secure. I love their innovation. Their product development team is top notch, and they're just coming up with really different ideas for our space. So check them out at element26.co. That's element26.co, and tell them Kat sent you. Cool. All right, so we're just gonna get started, if that's okay.
Okay, great.
All right, so we're here with Jeremy Teal. You are the director of the Fittest experience, founder and director, probably is a better title, right?
Yes.
So thanks for joining us. Appreciate your time. And you're kind of busy right now at this time of year. What do you got cooking?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing because whenever you're in the storm of it, you know, in the sense that you're actually involved with whatever you're doing, but when you're in preparation and planning, so much of it is you know, you're creating it in your mind, you're writing it down on paper, you're organizing the pieces of the puzzle, and then you have to be able to see it in your mind's eye and all that stuff. So you people could look at you and be like, well, you know, what are you up to? And it's like, well, you're extremely busy, but you're not doing, you're prepping and planning. Yeah. And so that's unique in the sense of what season we're in, because we're really about, you know, 5 months or less out from the competition, the physical competition. We have a virtual competition coming up in, you know, less than 4 weeks, and then we'll move to the physical competition, and things will start to move pretty rapidly there. But yeah, so busy in the sense of planning.
Yeah. So Jeremy, take us back a little bit to the history of the Fittest experience. I know it's been around quite a long time, and I've only sort of been a part of it for just a year. So there's a lot of history there that I don't even know about. And I'm sure folks that are listening probably don't even realize just how everything started. So let's talk a little bit about that origin story, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, the Fittest experience was really built off of my past history leading up to my exposure to CrossFit, and then post the first CrossFit Games. And so my background in college, I was in triathlons, and that's how I got into triathlon sport. In college, I wanted to do something different. So I started doing triathlons with the club sport at Texas State University. And I became the vice president of the club over time. And we hosted a fundraiser, which was a triathlon, a sprint triathlon, 500-meter swim, 12-mile bike, 5K run. You had to set up you know, all the structures and organize and prep and get the registration. And so I really fell in love with event production in college. I just loved the chaos and organizing it. And so I did triathlons for years. And then when I found CrossFit in 2005, I loved putting together workouts and organizing that aspect of it.
I'm going to stop you right there. 2005.
Yeah.
Like, talk about OG. Like, that was, what, was it just the journal at that point? It was on the internet? Like, how did you start CrossFit in 2005?
Yeah. So really, you know, CrossFit CrossFit in the lab with Coach Glassman and what he was formulating and producing for his athletes and all that, you know, happened years prior. But as the internet, you know, from 1999, 2000, 2004 was in the bubble of Coach Glassman and his athletes. And then when it bubbled out, whenever the first affiliate reached out in 2004 from Seattle and to ask to become the first affiliate of this training program. So that launched the certification, the education, the affiliation. So fast forward from 2004 to 2005, when I found CrossFit in August of 2005 via my friend Lance Cantu, who eventually became a level 1 instructor. He was a Marine. He introduced me to CrossFit. So I found it very appealing because I came from a world of strength conditioning. I did Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, speed and agility with high school athletes, and also did triathlon. So I had this world of doing a lot of different functional sports prior to that being a thing. And so when I saw CrossFit, it made sense to me right away. And so when I found it in August of 2005, there was probably about 8 affiliates at that time. It was a very new thing. And then my sister, Carrie Kepler, who co-founded CrossFit Central with me, she was a personal trainer in Austin, and she worked one-on-one with individuals. Boot camps was starting to become a real popular thing at this time. And I said, Carrie, let's go to this level 1 certification and become a CrossFit affiliate. And we can pay $500 to do that and get certified. And so we went to Golden, Colorado in November of 2005. We walked in, and it was just amazing experience. The who's who of that time, which was .com, was CrossFit Santa Cruz, was Greg Amundsen, Annie, Nicole, Eva, all the who's who, Josh Everett, all those, Coach Bergner were there, And so we walked in, and in a flash of a second, I said, this is what we're going to do. And this is going to be the future of what fitness is. And I knew it, not everyone else around me knew it, but I saw it and I was like, we're going to do this. So that was December of 2005. And so the sport of CrossFit, the sport of fitness didn't exist yet. We were just doing workouts for time. And so in the summer of 2007, probably the late spring of 2007, on .com, a PDF appeared with the images and said, people are going to be gathering in aromas to barbecue, drink beer, and work out. And so I said, to my head coach, one of my good friends at our gym at the time, I said, hey, let's go to this. And the following weekend was a level 1 cert at CrossFit Santa Cruz, because they would position certifications around it. So, hey, let's hang out. Let's do this competition thing, whatever it is, this barbecue. And then we'll stay in Santa Cruz for a week, have a vacation, and then do a level 1 cert because we wanted other coaches to go. And so I went to the first CrossFit Games, and it was another one of those. So in 2005, my mind was blown. In 2007, it really took me to the final day, because we did 4 workouts, and the final day we did CrossFit Total. And, there was James Fitzgerald, there was Josh Everett, there was Chris Spieler, and a handful of other guys. And we were about to do, and I grew up powerlifting, so I was into it. But these guys were treating it like what I was, like a regional or state level. I went to regionals of powerlifting. These guys were getting so fired up about this event, and a light switch flipped. I was like, this isn't just a barbecue for fun. These guys are trying to win. And I was there to participate. And so I was like, another light bulb went off, light switch. And I said, hey, this is a real sport. I can do this. And so I ended up being like in 6th place or 7th place at the first CrossFit Games, because there's about 35 of us men doing it. And I had decent fitness. And so whenever I did that in July or August of 2007, I said, well, I have experience putting on triathlons. So why don't we put on a competition, talking to Carrie, like this CrossFit Games? And she said, she was down for whatever, let's do it. So in 2008, in March, April, and May, we put together a 3-part competition, and we only did 1 workout a day. So like the first one, we went to Houston. We did a total Ripito, when Ripito was a part of the certifying team and whatnot. We went to Houston. He was the judge for the CrossFit Total. We did that. We came back to Austin. We did an event here. It might've been 4 events. I'm thinking now it might've been 4 total events, but I can't recall exactly, but we did them like over the course of months. And then the winners that did the most events got a ticket to go to 2008, a flight, and we paid for the entry because you could just enter because there was no qualifiers to go. So that was the first year we held the Fittest, at the time was called the Fittest Games, qualified you in our mind to go to the CrossFit Games. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, so that was real origin. And I know I was at the Hearts of America HOA just happened this past weekend, and they say, you know, their event was the first. They say, so one of their clients say, ours was the first, you know, competition outside of the games. So, well, theirs was the first team competition, which theirs is a team competition ongoing. And I don't know what year they started, maybe 8 or 9, maybe 9. And we started in 2008, the first individual, because we didn't start a team portion because the team side didn't really exist it was individuals working out at the games, and your collective score was your team score. It wasn't like a 4-person team back then.
Right.
There was the affiliate cup. And so I didn't have comprehension of 2 men, 2 women competing, doing team competition yet. And so from this point, I believe ours was the first individual competition outside of the CrossFit Games to ever begin, you know, the sport of functional fitness. And so that was the origin. We started out, we had like 35 people start, and then it just started to steamroll. And, you know, I'm a business owner, entrepreneur, and I've never in the history of business ever done anything that naturally grew exponentially without me trying to grow it. So it's like, okay, we'll do this in 2008, in 2009. And again, the years get a little blurry for me, but they introduced, I believe in 2010, it was before they had the online open, they had the sectionals, then you had regionals, then you had the games. And so that year, I believe that was 2010, we hosted, instead of the Fittest Experience, we actually hosted a sectional for CrossFit Inc. Before they launched the open. And so we did it in 2008, 2009, and then in 2010. And then 2011, we brought it back to our gym and hosted it. Then 2012, we started going offsite because the event was getting too big. Because in 2011, it was funny here because someone asked me, goes, "Are you doing the Fittest Games this year, Fittest Experience?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it's in like 10 weeks. We need to do it. We need to put the registration up." And literally, we put out the date. I put up registration, and in like 48 hours, it was sold out. And I hadn't planned anything. I hadn't planned where we're doing it, what the workouts, nothing. And it sold out literally in 2 days. And I was like, holy crap, we got to figure this out. So we put it all together, and it was a great event, and really structured and organized. Like, you know, it was a great event. And that just pushed us to the next year. In like 2012, we went to another venue, an offsite venue, because there was too many people, because this actually spectators started coming. And we said, oh, we can make some money. Let's charge like $15 for spectator tickets, $10. And so we had an offsite event. The event sold out again in record time, 24 hours, it sells out. And then the night before, we had like 200 people signed up for spectating. And then at 9:00 that night, spectator tickets sold out at 900. And nobody like had spectators buying tickets at an event. And we literally were probably out over capacity by tenfold. Like, and we were in this place, and people that were there, Asia Bartow, who was a games athlete, competed, a lot of athletes, Chase Ingram, is it MC or now, or not MC, but broadcaster, they were there. And we were in this warehouse on the east side of Austin before the east side of 6th Street was developed. And there was one door to get out of this space. And we were working out, and every so often I'd check and see if the door was there, if I had to get out of this room because there were so many people in it and there was so little amounts of exits. So anyways, those are some early days. So it just moved. We moved it from these venues back. We had a downtown location. Years like 13 and 14 were epic years. We were in downtown Austin. We had thousands of people coming to watch the event, it was positioned in January. You know,
At this point, had you start to expand your divisions at all, or are you still just individuals?
No, we had brought on teams. We were now, like, by 2011, we were doing teams. 2012, 13, 14, we had teams. We were allowing like 25 teams. And we had capped at around like 350 athletes. So it would top out about 500 people would come, competitors. And yeah, we would just do it. And in 2014, when we realized, like, so the fire marshals showed up, and they said, in 2014, they said, what permits do you have to be doing this? I said, this is private property. Like, we can do whatever we want. And they go, no, you can't. That park across the street is a public park, and you have 200 people. The athletes village was in the public park, and you have no food vending, like, permits. You have no, like, you can't do this without permits. And so by the grace of God, for some reason, they let us continue with the event, but they said, next year, you got to come get permitting from the city, because it was outdoors. So there was no real fire issues that year.
They needed to get paid. You were making money.
Yeah.
We need some of that.
Yeah. So that was kind of the first. It grew over the first, 7 years to this, grassroots event that kind of the best people in the region and all the folks that wanted to compete would come to. And it was pretty phenomenal, pretty awesome experience. And so another part of things that people might not realize is that a lot of the early media people that worked for CrossFit HQ over time came from our event and from our operation. So like Dave Ray is a photographer for the CrossFit Games. In years past, he was on team, whenever the shakeup with media. He was one of our athletes, one of our original athletes, and he was one of our photographers. And he got connected and became friends with Dave Castro and Jonathan Haynes, who is in charge of media on the social media side of CrossFit Games. He was our lead media production for the Fittest experience and at CrossFit Central. And then the Schrocks, Elliot Schrock was a media producer early on, content video creator in the early days that eventually went on to work at HQ. So we had this little bubble of creation, and it was one of those times when it was special, and you knew you were in a really special time. And it was like before the band really became the band, the CrossFit really became the sport. So anyways, that's really like up into 2014, that was kind of like the fullest of the grassroots, because it was probably in 2014 when we introduced what we called then the lottery. You had to do an online portion. It wasn't a qualifier. It was like to get your ticket in line. So we would organize you so you had the first wave to buy your ticket to the event. Because it would sell out so fast, we had to modulate how fast registration would open up so they wouldn't crash the servers, or in 4 minutes it was sold out and you didn't get your spot. So we would modulate that with the lottery and all that. And that was kind of a follow of the open was going on now. And we wanted to see how could we do something like that as well. And so, that's the early days of what we were doing with the event. I don't know if that was,
that was perfect. Yeah, no, that gives us an idea. And it sounds like a lot of people were sort of using your competition to cut their teeth, onto bigger and better things with the sport as well. So that's kind of a cool position to be in. And this competition is really kind of a family affair as well. You have a pretty large family. Talk a little bit about how you guys work together and have evolved as a huge presence and unit, for that competition.
Yeah, for sure. So, me and my sister, Carrie Kepler, started CrossFit Central together. And then both of us are former Games athletes. We both competed and placed third at one point in the CrossFit Games. I placed third in 2008 and Carrie placed third in 2009. And then our team, really, we had a team presence at the CrossFit Games for, a good 7 to 8 years, where our team was, in top 20 almost every year. We would go out and compete, and if not in the top 10. So we just had a culture of competition. And then my brother has always been a part of our team at the gym, and he's always been one of our pad leaders and operators. And then my sister Amy, so there's 5 siblings, and my sister Amy does all back end financial operations and execution. And then my sister Kelly usually either competes, and this year she was actually a judge, and my niece Savannah, who's a teenager, she's 15, was a judge this past year, and she's grown up with the event as well. And then my brother-in-law is the DJ. So Carrie's husband,
right?
Yeah, Carrie's husband DJs, and he's been DJing for probably the whole time. I don't honestly think there's not been a year in 13 years that he hasn't DJ'd the event. And so he's the DJ. And then my wife, now we have children, but she would always compete or be a sponsorship sponsor director in years past, and all that. So yeah, the family is involved in all the kind of inner workings of the event. And of course, we have a much larger team than that, but those are definitely parts of it. And so from the origin, even that, my father is a family farmer. And so my dad works with his sister and brother and has worked for 50 years with them on the family farm that his parents started. And so this is kind of an iteration of the family farm, if you will, just a little bit different type of work.
So I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
As a grassroots competition that grew out of really just hard work and a community, how do you keep the charm of that grassroots competition now that you have expanded and blown up over the last several years?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the heartbeat, the culture, which our theme this year is Heart of Hearts, is the culture of the event and the atmosphere that we create and the core tenets of what we do is paramount to our production. And so there's 2 sides that the way I mainframe this is on one side is the very strict and organized process that we create for the athletes to have a world-class experience. So that's very fundamental in what we do. So operations and structure is critical. On the other side is that it's a party. So after you set the table, you can have a party. And if you have a party without the structure, you're not going to have a great event. And so with that, we breathe life into that through the party. And that is the music, the MCs, the vendors experience, the attitude of our event. And so we just create and curate an experience that is abundantly positive, low drama, and let it take its course. So I think that it's the people and the vision that we put in place that keeps it continuing to be what it is. And I tell you too, that to take credit for it, I can only take credit for so much. There is something so unique about our event and how it has become what it is. I can't tell you. We have, at years that aren't COVID, we have 3,000 people show up to watch people exercise. Our vendors sell everything that they have, and they're blown away by how much, people just come to buy. And it's this crazy phenomenon that I honestly can't take 100% credit for. So I definitely want to say that there is a unique thing that happens here that being an entrepreneur is like, you got to promote and sell. This thing naturally has this creation that is just very magical and powerful unto itself.
Yeah. And for me, who, I've been a part behind the scenes of a lot of different events, and there really is just a different vibe there. And it's kind of hard to explain. And I found myself last year, being a part of it, a little bit too wound up for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was expecting something different, and there's just something calming about being there. And maybe it's because I'm from the Northeast and this is in the South, there's a little bit of a different speed happening there, but it's very palpable, the culture and the sort of chill of the event, which I thought was super refreshing.
And so you have like every division under the sun, right? You have individuals, pro, RX, intermediate, scaled. You have teams, same divisions, all of the masters and teens groups. I'm coming down for the first time in 2022. How do I get the best seat in the house, and how do I see all the action that's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think that depending on who your athlete is, and it's very targeted to the affiliate, the community supporting the athlete. And so we're set up and staged for the following of your athlete from pad to pad to pad. We're probably one of the first events, because we are the first event, but to have multiple pad sites. And so what's unique that we have 3 pad sites, and you can partition your flow of your event to each pad. And again, with the structure of our event, with the understanding the fluidity of when things are happening and where they're happening, is very intentional. And so pre-game day, we have the heat sheets and the timelines and the communication that's put out, and we really are wanting to create an experience that you can follow your athlete. And then on the overall arching, we've always put a tremendous amount of capital into media. Our social media, our video is constantly giving you updates and information about what is happening, where it's happening, and how it's happening. So from our Instagram handle to our stories, what we're putting out, our emails, they're very informative on how to, come about and do, the fittest experience. So, really you got to come, and I imagine there's a little bit of mind mapping that has to occur when you get the flow of the space. But we have a phenomenal venue where we're doing it. Is this like indoor, outdoor, show barn, it's a Texas type of vibe. Show barn, but it's over 75,000 square feet of covered space plus outdoor space. So there's a tremendous amount of space for you to experience, the event.
And you have all the proper permits now?
Well, yeah, the unique thing now, we use a venue. So the venue supports all that we do, and it's no longer city managed. So that makes it a lot easier.
So tell us about the venue, the where, the when. Give us sort of the details of the in-person event.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm going to pull up my calendar just so I make sure I get everything accurate and right. So where we're at currently is in the qualification process. So you have to register to qualify. You register as an individual. You can select your division. We have an array of divisions that you can qualify for. From individuals to teams. And I do have a special announcement that I'll be making on this podcast about what's coming, which we're super excited about. But the first way to get into our event is our online qualifier, which kickstarts on October 19th. And there's 3 workouts, 3 events that are released on that first week. It's always different the way we release them. There's no real choreographed process that they're going to come out over, that evening, every hour, every 30 minutes, day by day. But you're going to get access to the 3 events for week 1. And then the scores will be need to be posted. I won't say the exact, I believe it's Monday by 7 p.m., might be midnight. And then the following week, going through November 2nd, will be the following week. So we're from October 26th to November 2nd is our online qualifier, which will be 6 events over a 2-week period. And then that will get you a qualifying spot. We're qualifying 815 people into our event this year. So it's not our maximum that we've ever had, but it's not. Last year we pulled it down to 620, 640. So we'll be up again a couple hundred people. But the new exciting announcement that we're doing this year, we are going to be launching the Fittest Experience Throwdowns that will be coming to a box near you. We are opening up for the first time, and this hasn't been done before. This has been done before by another large event that we're probably familiar with, but we're going to be starting with the state of Texas. We're going to have 5 locations, but this is the uniqueness of the TFX Throwdowns is that they will be hosted at venues all across the state of Texas, and they will be qualifying in a division that we have never served up to this point is a scaled team division. So this year we're going to be qualifying intermediate and scaled teams. Now the intermediates have an opportunity to qualify through our online qualifier, but we're going to open up 5 more spots for intermediate teams. And we're going to be opening up 10 scaled team division spots that can only be earned through TFX Throwdowns. So those will be coming at the latter part of November all across the state of Texas. Once we lock in this model, we're going to be launching it state by state over the course of the next 2 to 3 years, where eventually it would become national qualifying through physical throwdowns. I imagine it will evolve over time, but that will be coming in. The announcement of that will be in the next 10 days, the venues, the locations, and how that process is going to work for people to actually have an online opportunity to qualify and then an in-person 4 intermediate and scaled teams, 5 intermediate, 10 scaled, and the scaled will be the first time we ever had a scaled team division. So that's really exciting. So we're super stoked about that. We've been trying to figure a way to, grow our, what we call our collective, because really personnel is the biggest challenge in this, in having the judges, the managers, the athlete controllers to plug in to support a very large event. And we felt this was the best way to get partners involved with us, because the exciting part about that is it's a shared revenue model. So these 5 boxes, and in the future, we'll be able to earn a shared revenue. We'll be releasing all that, what that revenue dollar amount will be, but the majority of revenue will go to the box host. We will support them with banners and the registration and all that support and promotion and marketing to get those events filled up for them. So it's a very exciting partnership and growth, and helping grow our judges and support teams to come to our physical competition, which this year, where we've pegged and where we've been traditionally for years, is the last weekend of January, which is the 28th, 29th, and 30th of January. And that will be the physical competition. In previous last year, we had a virtual version of a workout before the physical event. If that is the case this year, which is unknown, we will be making that prior to registration, that information. So people that are registering, they know when and what and how they're going to be doing what they're doing. But for now, we do know that 28th, 29th, and 30th will be the actual physical competition in 2022.
And the name of that venue is what?
That is the Wilco. It's the Williamson County Expo Center, and that is in Taylor, Texas, and it's a little bit north of Austin, but it's a great venue.
Super fun. So did you guys miss a year with COVID, or?
So it's very, very unique in the sense that this is another tidbit I've never shared publicly. So this is what I will say is always listen to your gut. And that is, a quote unquote saying. So in 2019, May of 2019, we had the biggest Fittest experience to date. We had 1,000 competitors. We had David Goggins, we had Jim Hensel, we had Jason Khalipa. It was a blowout event, massive. We had gigantic. And so after May, we had an event production team that was working with us that year and going into 2020. And for some reason, my gut was telling me this is too much. And I was going like, this is the best year we've had. And I was dragging my feet, and my event production team was saying, we need to get everything rolling. We need to make deposits for 2020. So I'm not feeling it. And they're going, what do you mean you're not feeling it? A, you're under contract, and B, it's coming. And I said, nope, we're canceling. I had to make a decision to cancel 2022. And I had no evidence of any reason why I should, other than my gut. And after being an entrepreneur for 16 years, one commitment I made after making a huge blunder, probably like 5 years prior to that, on when my gut was telling me no, and I did it anyways. I said, I'll never do that again. And so at that moment, I canceled the 2020 event, and that was absurd. That was in September. That was like 8 weeks prior to our online qualifier. Oh no, we moved it into January. So no, we had time, and I canceled it, and we had to send out a message and tell everybody. And I didn't know what I was going to do with my life anymore because it takes up so much time, for real. And then in January, there was rumors of this pandemic coming. In February, it seemed like it was getting worse. And then in March, the whole country shut down. And all I was doing was sitting there going like, the Fittest experience would have been in 8 weeks. May of 2020, it would not have happened.
Yeah.
So by the grace of God, listening to my gut, we canceled 2020 on a hunch. That was it. And
wow.
And so we did not have a physical competition in 2020. And then I started going, oh my goodness, we can come back with the virtual competition in the fall of 2020 and host the event in January of 21. And if the pandemic is still going on, we'll move it to May. We can always move it back. And so we relaunched the Fittest experience in the fall of 2020, and didn't have a physical event in 2020, but in 2021, that was our physical event, which was, the venue was perfect. It was an indoor outdoor. There was no walls on the buildings, and people were able to come in and distance and wear masks and do their thing and have a competition. So that's the 2020 story that is heard first here on the podcast.
I love it. Very, very telling. You knew what you were doing somehow.
Can you go ahead and give everybody your website so they can see the information? I know that, like, if you're debating between intermediate and beginner or whatever, all that information is on your website.
Absolutely. Yeah. thefittestexperience.com, or the simplest way is just find us on Instagram, go through our bio, click on the link tree, and you'll be able to get to our website. And then we have a breakdown in the description of each division, expectations, what you should be able to do, be a full, max versus metcons and gymnastics movements. So you'll be able to really distill down what division you should compete in.
And they can register for the qualifier on there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a link on our bio on Instagram, or you can go through our website. Our Instagram is probably our most utilized platform for communication and insight. And the registration link is on our bio link and on our website.
You probably can't talk about it, but are there any like special things happening this January that you want to tease, or?
All right. Yeah. Before we go, for sure, some awesome things that are happening this year is our charitable give. We're going to be working with Mayhem Missions this year with our online qualifier, and we're working with them on an activation on site. So that's going to be pretty exciting. If it's going to be a workout or whatever it's going to be good. And there might be some Mayhem athletes that are going to be present. That's going to be pretty exciting. So you definitely want to know about that. And this year, we really are going big on community, and we're doing a $5,000 giveaway for the top community box affiliate that has the most athletes signed up. So it's about $5,000 of equipment from Fringe. And we're also doing a give back program this year. So if you have to register for this, if your box register, for every athlete over 10 that you register, we're giving 10% back to you at your box. So it's pretty exciting to give funds back. And that's something that we're evolving and growing. But just to continue to pour back into what makes this event possible is the community. And so just doing community gives like that is on the forefront of our mind. And so we're going to be adding those in this year. But yeah, it's exciting. So we're looking forward to being able to award that $5,000 gift to the top box affiliate community that brings the most people.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, super generous. Okay, sounds good.
So I need one clarification, because if anybody likes a party, I like a party. So how does that work? Is the event itself like a party atmosphere? Is there something that happens afterward that's a party? I don't want to miss the party.
The party is the experience, is the people, is the music, is all the things that are going on. It's just ongoing. You're going to find yourself in the stands and the DJ is going to play something and you're going to start dancing. And the people, it's the environment is very much, this is a party.
So the party will consume me.
It will consume you and you will become it. And then however you express yourself via working out or dancing will be the display.
Perfect. Now I understand it. Now I'm ready.
I love it. Well, I can't wait to see what you have up your sleeve. I'm looking forward to seeing what the workouts are for the qualifier, seeing some of my friends trying to qualify and get in there. And we'll be talking more about this, ongoing for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. And we're extremely excited. And thanks again.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Have a good one.